Days like this, I can find no rest, and I'm wondering, without purpose, I can concentrate. I stay up late, I forget about my coffee, and I wanna know why.
Hi, thank you for joining us today for this session of the You've Got This Online Summit. And boy, are we excited. We're talking to a woman that is all about passion, purposeful action, and profound connection. Meridith Elliott Powell is an internationally certified coach, speaker, author, and business development expert. She works with clients across the world and embraces a culture of accountability for sustainability to increase productivity and profitability.
And Meredith is the perfect expert to guide organizations of any size to instill such creative leadership at all levels. Her vast knowledge and experience in strategic planning, human behavior, and emotional intelligence allow her to create content-rich, customized programs that people and teams that propel people and teams to great heights of personal leadership and professional success.
Meridith has a background in sales and marketing, has held several executive and leadership positions in the finance and commercial banking industries. Her desire is to understand the how of behavior, personality, and communication styles that influence professional relationships and organizational development. This stimulated her to earn certifications in human behavior and emotional intelligence.
Meredith has authored 2 popular books, Winning in the Trust and Value Economy, and 42 Rules to Turn Prospects into Customers. Finally, she is also a member of the National Speaker Association, the Carolina Speaker Association, and the American Society of Training and Development.
When you unleash your inner brilliance onto this world in a manner that puts you in control of your dreams in a feasible, fun, fulfilling career and in life, that's your choice, and it's what Meridith advocates. She truly believes you've got this.
Meredith is an expert at taking action and motivating others to do the same. In that spirit, we are so excited to have Meredith with us here today. Let's jump in. Welcome, Meredith.
Hi, Meredith.
Hello, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we can't wait to hear what you have to say today in talking about winning in the trust and value economy.
You know, here's what I am most passionate about. This is a great economy and an economy you truly can be successful in. It's the reason I wrote the book, Winning in the Trust and Value Economy. And this book is based on the fact that I noticed in 2008, for anybody out there who doesn't remember, but 2008 is that pivotal point when the economy really started to go in what we called those terms in that time when it went down. And basically what I started to notice was that some companies were doing incredibly well while some companies were going in the tank. And there seemed to be no middle ground. Either you were doing well or you were not doing well at all. You were going backwards. And so I started to study those companies that were doing well, and what we're going to discuss today are exactly what I learned from them so that you can walk off this summit and immediately put strategies into place that can make this economy start working for you. 3 must-have strategies to make this economy work for you. The first thing you need to understand is how many times have you heard this economy is down? We hear it all the time, everywhere we go. People are talking about the fact that this economy is down. Well, the first thing that you need to understand is this economy isn't down. What it is different. Let me repeat that. This economy is not down. What it is different. Radically changed. We have literally gone through an economic shift. Economists agree. They say we have shifted out of what is an old economy and into what is called a new economy. Literally, we have left what's called a push economy and moved into a pull economy. And don't worry, I'm not about to give you an Econ 101 lesson. The only thing that you need to understand about the difference between this old economy and this new economy is that when you leave a push economy and move into a pull economy, the consumer becomes in control. They are driving the buying cycle. They have all the decision-making power. Now, I want you to think about this. Globalization, advancements in technology, increased competition. The very fact that this summit is being done online with speakers from all over the place tells you just how much this economy has changed. Every single person listening to this summit right now could stay home for the next week. We could sit around in our sweatpants, our pajamas. We could sit around naked if we wanted to for the next week and Google until our heart is content and have everything we need, everything we want, everything we desire delivered right to our door. We can buy products and services online. We can get groceries. We can buy a car. We can make friends online. We can get a date online. We can get married online. We could get divorced all without ever opening our mouths, all without ever taking a bath. That right there changes everything. That changes, for those of us who are in business, selling products and services, the very fact that people do not have to leave their homes or even pick up the telephone to interact with us, that changes everything. It makes what we sell, what we offer, a commodity. But how we do it, that has become our competitive advantage. No matter how unique, how incredible, how whatever you think your product or service is, to the average consumer, it's become a commodity. So what you do is not nearly as important as to how you do it. And if you want to win, if you want to set yourself up to succeed in the trust and value economy, then the first thing that you need to understand is that there are 3 strategies that make winning in this economy fun, easy, and incredibly effective. 3 very valuable strategies that you need to know so that you stop focusing on what you do and focus far more on how you do it. So if you're ready, let's jump in and let's talk about strategy 1. If you have ever seen the television show Mad Men, then you have seen a push economy at its best. I love Mad Men because Mad Men actually really represents a time when business and advertising and organizations and companies were in 100% control. For those of you who have not seen the show, it's basically a show set in originally the 1950s or in the 1970s. Now we know that because the clothes have gotten really bad. But when the show started out, it's basically about an advertising company in New York City who is in charge of getting incredible messaging out to people to sell products and services. And it was back in the day when you would slap a bra on a woman and make her believe she could look like Jane Mansfield, or get men to put a little bit of goo in their hair and called it Brill Cream, and they believed women would come running. You could make up anything you wanted, push it out in a message, and people would come running to buy the products or services. Or if Mad Men's too far back for you, all you have to do is go back to 2004. 2004 was the last time that the economy was really running on high. And for those of us who were in business in 2004, you remember those good old days? You just had to open the doors, sit there, fat, dumb, and happy, and people came in just dying to buy products and services from you. Well, wake up, because those days are gone, and they're gone forever, and for far more than truth in advertising. They're gone because this economy has shifted. And just like we've gone from a push economy into a pull, you have to let go of those old sales techniques that are aggressive, that are getting you to push people to do business with you. The first step that you need to take is you need to pull people to do business with you. Step 1 is to pull, don't push. People need to have heard of you before you ever knock on their door to do business with you. Buying today has become like shopping in the cereal aisle of the grocery store. We are overwhelmed. And you know, any of you who have ever been in that aisle, it is the worst aisle because from the cash register all the way to the chicken is everything you can ever imagine a company could come up with to do with a cornflake. So what do? You grab the cornflake you recognize and you run as fast as you can to the frozen food. You have got to be that cornflake that jumps off the shelf. Whatever it is that you sell, in those sea of competitors, you have got to stand out. So step one is you've got to pull people to you. Don't push them, because at the beginning of the buying cycle, the consumer is in control. They are driving the boat. And if you come on too fast, at any moment they feel uncomfortable, they're going to be out of there going to your competitors. So in pull, don't push. Build the relationship first. Really invest in listening, understanding, and getting to know your prospects and customers. So step one to win in the trust and value economy is pull, don't push. Now once you are pull people to you and you have this amazing reputation, isn't it funny that our whole lives our mother told us not to get a reputation, now it's all about having a reputation. But once you've got that reputation out there, people are talking about you and saying, if you need to buy this service, you need to go see my friend so-and-so. Once you have built that reputation and people feel pulled to do business with you, the next thing you've got to do is really connect. You've got to plug in to the power of connection. We're still in slow motion here. You really have to allow the relationship to build. Teddy Roosevelt once said that the most important ingredient in success is your ability to get along and to connect with people. Let me tell you that Teddy Roosevelt would have done extremely well in the trust and value economy. Because if you want to win, if you want to succeed, you have got to connect with people. At the end of the day, buying and building your business is emotional. I don't care what gadget, what anything that you've got on your products and services, if people don't like you in a pull economy, they are not going to do business with you. They may buy one product or service, but you're going to build your business the hard way. If you bother to slow down, if you bother to connect, then people are going to not only repeat business with you, but they're going to refer business with you. Plugging into the power of connection. Connection is one of those words that drives me absolutely crazy because we've treated it like a step in the business growth cycle. It's not a step, it's not a task, it's an actual emotional exchange between two people. And as the person in control, as the person trying to build the relationship, you have to understand the connection isn't 1, 2, 3, you connect. It's going to be different with different people. But if you bother to connect with people, if you bother to plug in, it's the tipping point at which your customer, your prospect, is making the decision as to whether they want to do business with you. And plugging into the power connection is really easy. It's about asking questions, about listening, and responding to what it is that your customer or prospect really, really needs. This just happened to my husband yesterday. My husband is a dentist, and he had a situation where he had actually referred a patient out to another healthcare provider. And the patient came back through the door. And the reason she came back through the door was she said, "Can't you do this procedure for me? Because I feel like I matter here. This feels like home to me." Can you imagine about a dental office saying it feels like home? I mean, that is how powerful connection is. And connection is so easy. It's about listening to people. And our world has gotten crazy right now. It is full of white noise. And people feel like so much is being pushed at them. Slow it down. Listen to people. Ask them great questions. Really learn about them. And a beautiful thing's going to happen. They're going to tell you exactly what it is they need, exactly what it is they want. And when you fulfill that need with your product or service, you're going to be a hero. And you're going to slip to step 3. So we are pulling our customers and our prospects to us. We are plugging in to the power of connection. And step 3 is you just need to add value. Really add value. This is where you start to push. You have pulled people to you, and the trust is built. After you connect, I believe in you. Plugging into the power of value is about providing value and providing the other things that your products and services can benefit to your customers and your prospects. You know, the crazy thing about value is that it's unique to everybody. I always find it funny that people will tell you they can't afford health insurance while you're watching their big screen television, or that people will drive by a golf course where they could pay $30 for a round of golf on their way to a country club that they pay $100,000 to belong to. What is that? That is because we pay for what we believe has value. And your job as a business owner is to understand what value is to your customer or your prospect, and then offer them opportunity. It's not their job to tell you how to use your product or service. It's your job to understand their dreams, their ambitions, their opportunities, and their challenges, and use the value that your products and services can add in order to help them achieve their goals. So if you want to win, if you want to succeed, if you want to make this economy start working for you, it's really pretty simple. Not easy, but simple. You've just got to set yourself up to win in the trust and value economy by first pulling people to you, not pushing. Slow the business development cycle down. Work on your reputation. And I know there are going to be some great things on this summit. They're going to tell you how to get your messaging out there, how to stand out from the crowd, how to be the provider of choice. So you want to build that reputation and build your wow factor. You need to be that cornflake that jumps off the shelf, the one that people are talking about and the one that people have heard of. Then, once you do interact with your prospects, slow it down again and plug in to the power of connection. Get to know your clients. Get to know who they are, what's important to them, and most of all, listen. Really listen. And lastly, once you do have them, once that trust is built, understand if you're not proactively engaging with them, if you're not proactively offering products and services, then you're not adding value. And you're going to actually break the trust that you have worked so hard to build. The worst thing that can happen with an existing client of yours or customer is for have them find out about a product or service that you offer from one of your competitors. Your job, once you've built that relationship and built that trust, now's the time to be aggressive. Now the time is to add value because they actually are looking for you to do that. This is the age of learning. This is the age when you really can win in the trust and value economy. Learn about yourself and how to build your reputation. What is of value to you and what message do you need to get out there? Learn about your customers, who they are and what's important to them, who they are personally, and then continue to learn about their businesses, where they're going, where they're headed, what challenges they're facing, and use your product or services to help them get there. I know you can win in the trust and value economy. All you have to do is pull, don't push, plug into the power of connection, and continue to add value. You can make this economy start working for you. I know you can.
Wow, thank you so much, Meredith. I am so excited. So, and I know that you have a special gift for everyone watching today. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do. I actually have two. And all you need to do is shoot me an email, which you just saw, or send me a note off my website. And for the first 25 people that respond, I actually have a copy of my book, Winning in the Trust and Value Economy, which I am happy to send out to you. And for the next 25 group that respond, I actually have a free course on Udemy for Winning in the Trust and Value Economy. And it goes into really deep steps about how to set yourself up to win in the trust and value economy. We'll go through it step by step, everything you need to do to plug into the power of connection, to pull more customers to you, and to continue to add value.
So generous. I love that every speaker has brought a gift for everyone.
Yes.
So, Jess, do you want to jump into the question section?
I think that we should just kind of spend a few minutes and dig into a little bit more about Meridith, if you're comfortable with that, Nora.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely comfortable
Good.
with that.
Okay, Meridith. Well, good, because here we go. I really liked what you were saying about customers and that customers have a choice. What were some of the landmark pieces or trends that you noticed that really allowed you to identify that shift into the customer started having that choice and that power?
You know, I'll tell you, the biggest trend that I saw when I started studying businesses was that businesses that had prioritized customer experience, who had truly brought it into the center of the boardroom. And it was something where the language of the customer or client, whatever verbiage you use, even patient, people maybe in healthcare out there, but when I went into boardrooms or team meetings and the customer conversation was present versus it wasn't. So imagine you walk into a meeting and the leader is talking all about goals and all about numbers. He told me they didn't understand that their company had gone through an economic shift versus companies that had really moved that conversation into the boardroom. Because then what happened was when I started looking at that, I thought, well, what is that? And what I saw was customers gravitating to an experience, not a product or service. Very much so gravitating to an experience, not a product or service. That it is, you know, and then I even noticed it with myself. A couple of years ago, it was probably more like 2009, I'd been getting my hair cut at the same place for years. And my hairdresser and I had gotten into this routine. I always took the first appointment of the day because she always ran late, and if I came at 12, we'd be half an hour behind. So I'd meet her there at 9 o'clock. She wouldn't show up until 10 after. The gentleman who owned the place would let me in. I'd go make my next appointment. I'd sit in the chair. I'd start the coffee, and we were in this routine. And then one morning, I was actually shooting video the next day, and I'd let her know I was shooting video, so I had to get my hair done. And I got there. Barely had a snow. And I got there, and the shop was closed. And she emailed me later in the day and said, you know, oh, I forgot to take your phone number home. Now, I had been her client for like 10 years. And all of a sudden it hit me. I thought, why am I putting up with this? I don't have to. I pass so many places to get my hair cut on the way to her. And you notice it within yourself. Just everybody who watches the summit, watch yourself go to a restaurant. If you don't like it, you're out of there. That was not your behavior 5 or 7 years ago. We're almost kind of getting drunk with our own power because it doesn't matter. You don't like anything, you're out of there. So, you know, what I started to notice when I really started studying businesses was the CEOs who didn't consider customer experience a soft skill were seeing it hit the bottom line. Those who were still focused on even pushing their own associates to develop business were the ones who were falling behind.
And that makes me think of, we hear, and it doesn't matter which person you listen to or business development process that you follow, it's all about the numbers, it's all about results, and it's all about how do we do this, this, and this, and this. Well, what I'm hearing you say is that it's all about the experience. How do we quantify or think about experience in a way that we can actually turn around and measure some sort of an ROI in a sense that helps bridge the gaps if we're in a culture that there is a gap between the old and the new, or something along the lines of, I'm just starting out, or I'm not seeing the results I want in my business, so what can I do? What can I do to make sure that my results and what I'm trying to measure are related to the experience I'm trying to deliver?
Great question. The path to profitability lies through the customer. The only way to get there, okay? And you really need to understand that in this economy. At the same time, hey, I run a small business. I have to produce results. I can't just say to, the bills that I own, the people that I owe money to, well, I'm sorry, I'm really working on the customer experience. We all have to produce a result. So let me answer this a couple of ways. If you're working in a culture that is 100% focused on the numbers, so it's all that you're getting from leadership is how much did you, how much did you produce? Basically, that is a fair question. What you want to do, it isn't, again, what you do, it's how you do it. So I'm going to answer this a couple of ways. One is, if you're just starting out, you've got a niche to expand. Here's a newsflash. You're not right for every type of business, and every type of business isn't right for you. So you really need to look at, even if you only have 2 customers right now, who do you enjoy doing business with, and who are you succeeding with? Start small. Start with your referral sources. Keep it tiny, because you are not your best salesperson. Those people buying from you are. Because here's what's going to happen. I come in and I tell you and Nora how great I am. You don't care. You're going to turn around and ask somebody that I've done business with to say, how great is Nora? How great is Meridith? I am on here because Nora told you I'm good, not because I told you I'm good. So really start tiny and create an amazing experience for those few customers that you've got. And really ask people a lot of questions. If you ask people questions, they will tell you what they need. You will be able to sell them things and get a product or service across and produce ROI, because they're going to tell you what it is that they need. The last thing I'm going to tell you is that you need to treat business growth and business development like a lifestyle. It's not a task. It is something you have to do each and every day, all the time. Now, don't let that freak you out, because all I am talking about is, believe me, nobody hated sales more than I did. Nobody did, and I love it now. So do it my way, and you will love it. But anyway, my husband always says I went into business for myself so I could tell people what to do, and if they don't do it, I quit. But I promise you, I can get anybody to love to sell and to love to grow a business, because all I'm asking you to do is go out and really genuinely be interested in learning about people. So sometimes when I sell, it's not even for my business. I connect somebody to another business. So in a nutshell, even if you're working for a company that is 100% numbers oriented, if you do it their way, you're not going to get ROI anyway. The path to profitability is through the customer, engaging them, understanding. But I promise you, promise, if you listen, they will tell you what it is that they need. And when they tell you what it is they need, you turn around and you deliver it, and they go out and tell their friends about you.
And that makes me think of our manifesto. What about you, Nora?
It does.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And so when we think about our manifesto, we asked every single one of our speakers to choose a part of the manifesto that they liked and what resonated with them. And Meridith, you chose trust your instincts. How does that apply to what you've been talking about today, and a little bit of insight that we might be able to take away to pair the new economy and what we're doing and being able to really trust ourselves?
That one didn't only resonate with me; it jumped off the page at me. The power of trusting your instincts is that if you are, and I know both of you are, and everybody listening on this summit is, if you are coming from a place of good intention, you know when you are in front of somebody whether you can truly help them or whether you can't. And don't worry about that. Trust your instinct. More often than not, I have been in front of somebody, and I just know this relationship isn't going to work. I'm not really going to be able to make this customer or this prospect happy. Yet out of fear, I grab the business because I've got to have the business, and I end up in something that turns out not to be profitable for me, not to be value add for me or for the customer. Have faith that if you treat business growth as a lifestyle, not a task, you really go out and genuinely listen to people. You follow the 3 steps that we talked about, you're going to be winning in this trust and value economy. I promise you. I see it happen with every single one of my clients. But have the guts to listen to yourself, to go for the ask when you need to, and to pass on it when you don't.
That's beautiful. Yay! And and that is one of those internal, those hardest things that we do, and sometimes we do that in other parts of our lives that aren't business too. So it's
yes, absolutely. Really, my mission is to help people in business growth come from a place of power rather than a place of need, and you really can. And trusting your instinct is a big part of that.
Well, and I would say you really showed your sparkle on that one because you were the only speaker that chose it.
Oh, really? Great.
Mm-hmm.
Super.
Well, Jess, should we go with questions from the audience?
Let's do it. Okay, do you want to start?
Sure. So question 1, how has the consumer changed?
Oh, the consumer, as I said before, is truly drunk with power. I mean, we truly realize that we have a choice these days. However, what you need to understand with that is, good, bad, or indifferent, we all as consumers don't trust like we used to. I think 14% trust advertising, 76% are making decisions today based on word of mouth. And actually, I think that's higher. But you have, unfortunately, only to look at our government, only to look at, look how many cars GM has recalled this year. And we've just lost faith that what we're being told is the truth. So we've gone back to really looking to word of mouth. So what you need to understand is, even when somebody is referred to you, and when you're beginning that relationship, they're looking for some proof before they're willing to do business with you. And the last piece that I really want people to understand is listening to people and filling their most urgent need first is the best way to build a relationship. I had a client where I had been called in to do sales consulting for his company, and he was working with other people besides me, other vendors. But as I sat there listening to him talk, he was out. What I had been called in there was a sales training program, but he was obsessed for some reason with LinkedIn. I mean, really obsessed with getting his people up and running on it. So the way I put my proposal together was, I would do the sales training, but maybe first, why didn't I just get his executives together and we could do a mini workshop on LinkedIn? I'm going to tell you, I wasn't any better qualified than any of those other vendors, but I got that job because I listened. So you really need to understand that, because it wasn't even so much that he wanted that workshop. What you tell people when you listen in building that trust is that the relationship is always going to be more about them than it's going to be about you and your goals. So really understanding that you're dealing with somebody who doesn't quite trust. They put their toe in the water, then they put their foot, and when you deliver based on listening, and you build that trust, the whole relationship flips over.
Jumping into the next one, I'm changing this question just a little bit to accommodate everybody. If I'm just starting out, or I'm part of a business or a part of a team that needs to check in with our reputation, what are some of the top tips that we can take away to make sure we're building our reputation correctly and check in on that reputation to know where we stand with our digital presence?
I really go back to understanding, again, what the customer values. the first thing that I tell people to do when they're about to define how they want to pull people to them is go to your top customers. If you're just starting out, go to the top 5 people you would want to do business with, top 5 clients, top 5 prospects you would want to have, and ask people what's important to them, what matters to them. If they're your existing customers, why did they choose to do business with you over somebody else? We did this for a client of mine who sells software, actually, and he was losing it, obviously, to a lot of vendors overseas, and basically he wanted a lower price, and what we did was we went to his customers, and what we found was what was important to him, what was important about him was that he answers the telephone, was the fact that it's a small company and they feel like they can talk to the CEO, the fact that he's available on the weekends, that everybody has his cell phone number. And for small businesses, that was very important. So we used that feedback to use that to build his reputation. The very fact that he was a software company that had been around for 20 years. See, he might have gone online and started talking about the fact that he was honest and trustworthy and blah, blah, blah. But these were the things that mattered to people when they were looking to choose a software company. So you have to go to the people that are going to buy from you, say what's important to you, and get that messaging out through your reputation. Because you don't want to do it based on price, and you don't want to do it based on what you think.
I love that. Know your values.
Yes.
Okay, so next question. How do you create good questions to intrigue your potential client?
Create good questions. I hope everybody's really comfortable with this. But you have the basic, I always tell people to go in with 5 questions armed and ready to go. I mean, and you develop those 5 questions based on the fact of what do you really need to know about somebody in order to be able to do business with them? What do you feel like you need to know in order for somebody to be a good fit? But again, I'm sounding like a broken record. I would go back to making a list of my top 5 or my top 10 customers and writing those customers down and seeing what those customers have in common. Do they work in a certain industry? Are they a certain personality type? Are they in a growth mode? Are they in a decline mode? And what are the questions you could be asking prospects to help you find your best customers? The last thing I'm going to tell you about that is just stay present and listen, and trust that if I ask you, tell me a little bit about your business, that if I really listen, the next logical question will come up. Because if you are thinking of the next question you are going to ask in your head, you are not listening to the customer. I had a coach by the name of Marsha Reynolds give me that piece of advice. And I tell you, I use that every day of my life. And I have been in business for a long time, and I still get in front of prospects that scare me and think, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to help them. I do it too. But if I ask one question that says, tell me a little bit about your business, how did you get started? If I follow Marsha's advice and I stay present, sometimes things come out of my mouth and I go, wow, I am brilliant. Where did that come from? The presence is powerful. So I'll give you those other things as a crutch, but if you're going to take one thing, begin with asking people how they started or tell me a little bit about your business, and stay present and have trust in your intelligence and your training that the next question will come up, because that's the best way to do it.
That's really cool. And so we have time for one more question. And
Sure.
in this last question, I'm going to totally hijack it for myself.
Okay.
Sorry, audience. This is all for me. And what I listened to and heard you say, Meridith, through the presentation, and a theme that came up through the answer to every single one of the questions here, as well as the interview that we did, was about knowing what's going on, which to me indicates lifelong learning in many different forms. That's what we talked about specifically, was where we are in the marketplace, what can we do for our business, how do we make sure we're putting our customer first and listening so that we can help them and then see the success from that, because we're creating this amazing experience in a customer-driven economy. And I love the story you told of putting yourself in the consumer role and actually going, wow, what am I putting up with? That was really cool. How do we... wait, wrong question. This was my question. I should get it right. My question is, who do you learn from on a regular basis? Where do you go to keep your lifelong learning current so that you stay inspired and creative?
Great question. I devote the first 30 minutes of every day to learning. If you got up with me, I get up ridiculously early. I'm a morning person, but I go and I make a pot of coffee, and I either am reading from a book. I'm not blessed with a long attention span, so I read books a chapter at a time. I read a book, I read a magazine, I watch a video, I read a blog, whatever it is that I choose to learn from. But that is my time. It comes before absolutely everything. And while I do follow certain people, right now I'm researching a book on customer engagement, really personal responsibility. So I'm following Kevin Krause quite a bit, Krause. Really, I follow topics more than I follow individuals. I'll look for information on leadership or empowerment or responsibility or innovation, but it doesn't matter. And I don't judge what I'm learning. I mean, I'll Google something, and if something pops up, that's what I learned from. The other is that I truly do, as I'm sure most of us do, really learn from my customers. But if I were going to leave anybody with this whole idea of learning, you will learn everywhere. Pay attention. I really believe that. I mean, I'll watch really stupid things on television, things that I would not admit to watching on this. I've got to deal with myself when I work out in the mornings. I'm allowed to watch what less than intellectual programming, and but it's even in that you can hear a message, and it's just incredible. Is that treat your business development not as having to get a bottom line, but truly as a business growth journey. Because even when you dip backwards, there's truly a reason that you went there. So it's an age of learning and reaching out, connection, really connecting. So I really advise people 15 minutes, 30 minutes every single day, do something, but push the envelope, because what you're doing now in your business, I don't care how successful you are, not going to work a year from now. But that's the next book. We can talk about that on the next summit. Okay.
I like it. Okay, so we would like to remind everybody what your generous gift is. Would you tell us again about that?
Absolutely. I need you to contact me via email or social networking. I don't care. Just reach out and connect with me. And the first 25 that do are going to get a signed copy of my book, Winning in the Trust and Value Economy. The next 25 that do are going to get a code for my 12-week online course for Winning in the Trust and Value Economy. It's going to set you up to both gifts will set you up to understand how to win in the trust and value economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're just so generous, and I love that.
Happy to be here and happy to be a part of it, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we are so excited. We have one more presentation before the end of our summit. And stay tuned. Top of the hour, we'll see you right back here in the section where all these videos are. And if you have any questions, you now have all of Meridith's contact information, how to connect with her, and don't forget about that amazing free gift, which we will have right below this video, a link for you to reach out to her website contact page, so you have that as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys again in a few.
now.